Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's interesting because we've been talking a lot about efficiency, a lot about quality of care, but the issues that the VA confronts are issues of life and death. That's how serious this is. That's how serious we are about making sure that we have an oversight system and that we have partnerships with both of your agencies in terms of providing oversight, because it can mean the difference between life and death. That's how critical this is. And as we kind of look going forward, I think it's important, although you've heard a lot about choice here, that you understand this from the perspective of a rural state, where I think the chairman talked about a 100-mile drive. I have Native American veterans who live in the northwest part of my state who literally have to drive 5 hours to get chemotherapy. Now, as somebody who is a breast cancer survivor, the last thing I wanted to do before and after my chemotherapy was get in a car and drive 5 hours. This is a sacred duty that we have to make sure that our veterans are treated appropriately. And this body, the United States Congress, signed by the President, have adopted a new policy, which is called choice, that there ought to be an opportunity for that veteran, that 90-year-old veteran who may be getting chemotherapy, to get it at home or get it as closely, as close as what he can or she can to home. And so I would tell you, since the rollout of the CHOICE program in November of 14, an overwhelming number of veterans, family members, doctors, and healthcare providers have contacted my office out of frustration, and you hear that frustration among all the members here. We have to have a watchdog, because this is a very big bureaucracy that thinks they're just going to wait this out. That if people's attention just deviates from the problems of the past, that we will, in fact, be pulled off target. I am not going to be pulled off target on the CHOICE program. I'm not going to be pulled off target on making sure that our veterans get the benefits that they've earned by serving this country. And so, Mr. Missel, and I thank you so much for coming into my office. I know that you heard the same kind of passion there, but I want to really impress upon you how truly important it is to look at this program and look at what this means, because it could mean life and death, and to think about even if there isn't outright fraud or abuse, and no one's claiming that the efficiency and fulfilling the promise of this program is within your mission.
I understand that, Senator.
Okay, thank you. And I want to maybe just take a moment and talk about, following up with Senator Ayotte, talk about the bonuses, because, is it appalling that these bonuses were paid and not paid back? Absolutely. And we'll work through that. But what's appalling to me is that we created a system by providing bonuses that provided a huge incentive for fraud. And so, and I know this is far-reaching, but as you look at kind of administration, how do you see being proactive on the front end of those kinds of decisions that are made to prevent fraud or prevent incentivizing fraud by staff?
Sure. I think, that several things. One, that could be part of the audit function when you're going to test things to identify issues before they become larger problems. Secondly, the IG also can weigh in on proposed legislation to determine the efficiency, effectiveness, things like that. So there are ways the IG can use his or her voice to come in on issues such as the ones you raised.
Yeah, so the great tragedy is that an incentive program that was built to improve the quality of care actually led, in my opinion, to fraud, because all of a sudden there was a monetary reward which you could get if you lied, right?
Correct.
So that's the kind of thing that we need to be very proactive on, not just taking care of what's the decisions today, but how decisions in administering the programs at the VA can in fact create even more bureaucracy for our veterans. So I want to thank both of you for stepping up and for being part of this important life and death mission, which is providing those services that some of the great heroes of this country have earned. And so, thank you, and if there's anything that we can do on this committee or anything I can personally do to assist you in carrying out that mission, I hope that you pick up the phone, call me personally.